What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, Diversify, also known as Keisha Moore, also known as Key. So today is Tuesday. Normally I do tea time with Key, but today I'm going to start a series called Testimony Tuesday. So I don't have any makeup or anything on. It's time for me to recolor my hair. I'm working and I'm training. So this is what my testament is going to be on today. So, you know, in life we go through so much stuff. I mean, there's the ups and downs, the bills, the stuff with people getting killed, people getting kidnapped, human trafficking, people going to jail, just not knowing if we're going to be going to war, the United States new president, because I don't call him my president. It's just a lot. It's like a lot going on in this world. Oh yeah, and this is me representing the cheerleader alumni for Hot Springs High School, class of 91. I don't know if this is the shirt. Yeah, it has the 91. So anyway, let me get back to Testimony Tuesday. So, even with everything that's going on in the world today, you still have to keep pushing forward. Sometimes we don't know how we're going to pay their next bill, where the money's going to come from. Some people don't know when they're going to get their next meal, or if they're going to be able to have shelter over their heads. Anything that we are going through is only a test and a trial for us to keep pushing forward. So, I'm going to tell you my testimony. I have my cosmetology license in Tennessee and Arkansas. I have my cosmetology instructor license in Arkansas. I have my bachelor's in business management from University of Phoenix. And I have my master's of business administration from Arkansas University. I've worked several different types of jobs. And yet I have, like, doing hair, really, I found fulfillment in that. It got my daughter into college, and on and off, it was something like if I needed some money and I could do hair, hey, it was quick money too. There's always money in that career field. And don't get me wrong, I loved doing hair. But to me, it's just not the same now. So I kind of put that back for a little while and was concentrating on my education. So I got my degrees. I got my master's in 2015. It's 2017. I've been with my job since 2014. And within this job, it was a door that came open for me with a door closing where like 25 to 40 people got laid off on the job that I was on previously. And it was, I'll never forget, it was 5 days before Christmas. All of us was like, in the middle of the day, they were just telling people go home. But y'all gonna still get paid for the day. That doesn't help us. Bills don't stop. Like, so instead of getting discouraged, because I still had to, you know, the things I had to pay. Rent, utilities, car note, car insurance, food in the house. And it wasn't like I was getting help, like, from anybody. So, a good friend of mine who actually works for the company that I work for now, they had just started hiring. They had to hire like 900 and something people. And so that's when that door opened up. So that was in December I got laid off. And in January 28th of 2014, I started working for the company I work for now. I'm not going to say who I work for. So, I'm thinking good. I'm not going to miss a step. I only had a few weeks to make sure that everything was fine. Well, actually a whole month before everything was fine with bills, money coming in, whatever. And I'm very thankful for my family because they did help, you know. So, as I've been on this journey with this job, I have not found any satisfaction in it. I started off in one department. being like tech support. And so just kind of give you a small thing about my job, I deal with insurance claims. That's the part that I do now. Initially, I was only doing like technical support. And it's ironic that I was doing technical support for Verizon, which Verizon was a company that I worked for in between the one I got laid off on. And I left Verizon because I was tired of call centers. And I only wound up back into another call center. But this time I came in, starting off working around AT&T, and then the last week of it, they threw us into Verizon. And I'm like, wow, I've worked for both. I'll be fine. So, back again with Verizon. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, I kind of knew the system and everything. I did that for 5 months. I had surgery that took me out of work for 6 weeks. And then when I came back, it was so overwhelming to the point where I took on the other job because it paid more. And I'm thinking this will get me away from what I was used to, the call center environment. And those that work in the call center, y'all understand what I'm talking about. So that job didn't work out. Then I got the job that I'm in now. It was another call center. So I'm just like, okay, Keisha, you've really got to figure this out. You're too smart. You got too much education. You got too much of everything, especially up here, that needs to get down on paper and into action, which is where I'm stagnant at most of the time, because I have great ideas and I have great business ideas, but I get stagnant, and then that thing called fear sets in. And now I got this other thing that's called anxiety that sets in. So with this job, I went through another surgery, and then I got my master's, which anybody who knows me, I'm not quick to just quit and give up on things. And sometimes I want to. I'm human. I get frustrated, you know, or whatever. But I keep going. I keep going. Even with my bachelor's and my master's, there came points where I didn't know. Like, I ran out of money, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to finish. So my mindset was, I'm just going to keep going until I can't go anymore. But then here comes the blessing on both my bachelor's and my master's. That money came where I didn't think it was going to come, and I finished. Okay, so fast forward to life now. I've been with this company, it'll be 4 years in January. Since I've been with this company, I've had all kind of ailments. Like, I didn't realize about the anxiety, headaches constantly, just depression, period. And I left from being a technical support to what I do now is I just do insurance claims. Well, I took on a project that was asked of me on the retail side, because we do retail and mobility insurance claims. And I wound up getting stuck in retail. And no matter how many jobs I apply for with this company, I never can promote within. I tell you no lie, I probably applied for like 10 jobs in this company, and with a bachelor's and master's, it doesn't matter. And then I was told, well, you need to rub elbows. Fuck that. I don't kiss ass. I don't blow smoke up nobody's ass. And if you can't hire me on my own merits, then the job is not for me. So I sit in this knowing that there's something bigger that's going to happen for me. And it has happened some, because I'm really getting like tired. It's emotional. I've come to tears over this job. I've seen a psychiatrist because of this job, and they give you the EAP because they know this shit is stressful. And you get that day one. Hell, you might not get insurance benefits, but you'll get the EAP day one. So, from 2014 to 2017, I've had a total of 7 supervisors. That should tell you a lot right there about the company. And then they don't just say, hey, I'm your new supervisor. No, one supervisor goes, you'll talk to them the day before, and the next day you get an email that they're gone. And then this is who your new supervisor is, or you don't find out who your new supervisor is for like a month. Stressful. But you can't let it affect your money, right? But when it affects your health and your mind and your physical state, emotional state, it affects your money. So with that, I just been kind of just like, I made a decision that is no longer a career path because, yeah, this is the longest that I've been in a situation, in a job where I find no growth for me. I'm quick to be like, okay, there's no growth here. I got to go. My creativity is dying. I got to go. So I started looking at all other things, started my own business, doing this, doing that, getting all the information I need, but I still couldn't find that fulfillment. So I came across web design and coding. I said, you know, it's just for some reason, I've always been a computer techie. Probably get it from my dad because he is definitely one. So I was looking at these different schools and stuff, and I seen they had like these boot camps for coding, web coding, not billing and coding in the medical. This is on a whole nother spectrum. So I started doing my research, and in my research, I found out that there's a need for us. This melanin, this feminine, black women, and black men too, but mostly black women. There's a need for us in the coding world. There's a woman they just hired. Oh my gosh, she is freaking awesome. For Uber. She's gonna take it and she's gonna turn that thing all the way around. There's a girl, a young lady who started Black Girls Code. Awesome. So I just started looking, like there's a Black Tech Week. Like I'm like, where has all this information been all my life? So I started taking like free classes online. So Udemy is one where you can take, like some of the classes are expensive, but like if you first starting, some might be $10. They might have a special 12, 15 or whatever. Or there's coupons that on Retail Me Not, I believe it is. So I took a class on HTML, CSS, and some of JavaScript. I'm like, man, I could really get into this. I could really get into this. When I tell you the starting salary, and this is for people, like most people go and get a computer science degree. You don't even have to do that. You can do it in 3 to 6 months. The program, which I'm going to get to it, I'm doing is 6 months. So I started reaching out, checking, you know, putting this on Google. And Georgia Tech comes up. They have a boot camp. Wow, okay. Great school. My wife is like, yes, like you had it on your resume. Like, oh my God, that's awesome. You know, she's from Georgia. She pumping it up. But it's an awesome, awesome school. So I talked to the woman and she's like, oh, you would be a great candidate, da, da, da. I'm like, okay. Now, one thing about me, if anybody knows, I'm very competitive when it comes to grades. I'm like my own worst critic when it comes to my grades. So I'm like, okay. She said, well, you have to take a test. We done a phone interview, you passed that. Take the test, you passed it. Then you do an interview. One of the head people, you pass that, then you go into the next step. Now, mind you, these boot camps are not cheap. They don't accept financial aid. And they're $10,000, most of them. I'm like, I ain't got no damn $10,000. I got all this damn education, all these student loans, and I don't have no more money. I even thought about getting my doctorate, but I don't have no damn money. Because when you're not taught how to be financially responsible coming out the gate, which now there's more options to teach, you know, the younger people how to be financially responsible coming out the gate, going into college and what you borrow. But back then when I started, like 91, it was like, girl, you better get that excess money, get you a laptop. Hell, some people was getting cars, going shopping. We wasn't thinking like, okay, we got to pay this shit back. So I try to instill that in everybody going forward so that they know, hey, you gotta pay that shit back. So, and with interest. And don't let that shit go into default. So anyway, I'm thinking like, okay. So here comes my defeat and my fear and my anxiety. Okay, this is something you want to do, Keisha. But who the hell gonna give you $10,000? So I'm like, let me reach out to my family. I was going to do a GoFundMe and everything. But let me get back to Georgia Tech. So I take the test. Basically, as long as you score a 70, you're good. And I'm like, okay. I scored an 85. The woman's like, you scored an 85. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I thought I scored 100. I'm like, well, damn, I was upset with myself because I didn't get to finish the test, but I must have did very well because she couldn't stop talking about this 85. And I'm like, well, hell, what is everybody else making coming in? So she was like, oh my God, this is for you. Now, mind you, I love math, I love numbers, I love all that shit. So I was not really like stressing, but I was proud of myself. My wife was like, oh my God, you know, and her grandma was like, oh, she's smart. We already know that. But no matter how smart you are, sometimes you still are super strict and super hard on yourself. So I was like, okay, 85, that's cool, okay. And she was like, yes, I'm very, very impressed. She's like, so this is the next step. So I go, the next step was talking on the interview. So the guy calls me, he asks me these questions and everything, and I'm giving him these answers. And it's not like your normal behavioral interview. So the last question was, okay, you're in a building with 15 floors. And you have to, and all these books are by Hemingway. And you need to get them all in order on the first floor. How would you do that? So here you come. You have to really think on this shit. So I said, first, I would go to the top. My mom has always taught me that, like, even if I go into the store, my wife trips out. She was like, why we gotta work from the back and come to the front? Because if you go to the furthest, you go further out, you work all the way back to the front. That's how you're supposed to do it. I've always been like that, thanks to my mom. Thanks, Rosie. Love you, mama. So, I said, well, first I would start on the 15th floor. And each book I would start putting in order. And I worked myself all the way down. So by the time I get to the first floor, everything pretty much is in order. Whatever books are in there, then you just incorporate them into your order till you have them either lined up by the numbers that's on the book or the starting of the title in alphabetical order. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking, well, damn, maybe I gave the wrong answer. So he's like, well, it was nice talking to you. Have a good day. You'll hear back some soon. Normally, I think the process to hear back is like 3, 4, 5 days. So the recruiter calls me back like, oh my God, Keisha, you did awesome. Like, you passed. Everything hadn't been put in stone yet. But he called me exactly after he got off the phone with you and was like, yes. He said, especially that last question, she hit that on the nail. I'm thinking I messed the question up, but like it was actually how it should have been answered. And it just showed how I was very detailed. So, she was like, okay, the next step is the finances. We gotta put $2,500 down, and then you make these payments a month, and da-da-da. I ain't got no $2,500. Okay, I'm gonna work on it. She said, okay. She said, if there's anything I can do. Now, mind you, they don't take financial aid because it's considered continuing education, and it's just like having a computer science degree. So I put out there in the universe, I prayed about it, I put out there to family members, to people on Facebook. I had no responses. And it could have been done a little bit more. I even created a GoFundMe page, and guess what? I never even put it out there. So I said, okay, let me keep looking. So my wife was like, we can do this. We're going to give up on some things and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, that's just a lot of money right now. So I found several different coding camps, but most of them didn't have any type of funding. So I'm like, okay. So once again, I get defeated. Once again, I feel like, okay, I'm just going to stay in my job and work and just deal with this bullshit that I'm tired of. So coder camps comes up in one of my researches. So I'm looking. And what caught my eye was a $1,000 scholarship. Yes, $1,000 ain't no whole lot of money. But if you take 1,000 from 10, you got 9. You just work your way down. $1,000 scholarship for women for this boot camp. I was like, I'm a woman. Okay. So I called up and did not realize that a couple of years back, this just tells you this what's meant for you is for you. A couple of years back, I had inquired about the school. I didn't even remember that. So the woman, her name was Jamie, she was like, yeah, she was like, let me get this and that. She said, you inquired about the school like a couple of years ago. I was like, really? I was like, okay. So I go along with it. Oh yeah, I remember. I ain't remember that shit. So she was like, I'm gonna get you to talk to enrollment specialist And we'll go from there. I didn't have to take a test or anything. So I was telling her about my experience with Georgia Tech and how I scored on the test. She was like, what? Yeah, let me get you over here now. So I talked to this dude named Billy. He laid, laxed, everything. Conversation on point. So he goes, there's a $100 application fee. I had just paid my bills. I ain't have no $100. He said, but what I can do, which is something that I say to my customers all the time. He said, you seem to be a very good candidate for this. I'm going to waive that $100. All right. So no application fee. No $100 application fee. So that's $0 out of my pocket. $0 for the application fee. So then he was like, okay, and we're going to give you this $1,000 scholarship. He was like, you can do it in 3 months full time, but you got to get 40 hours. And that's Monday through Friday from 9 to 6. I can't do that. I work. He said, cool. So you could do the part-time program. There's no login time. You just have to dedicate 18 or 24 hours. That's it in a week. Got it. I give this job that I like 40 hours in a week, 24 hours. Hell, I can give y'all 40 hours in a week if I had to. But 24 hours, that's cool. We don't do that. Because I got to get this balance going on. So first payment's not due for 6 weeks. It's like, okay. December 1st, first payment. Oh, yeah. They financed this shit, too. No matter how bad my credit was, they financed it. So I get the $1,000. And theirs was just a little bit more. But with the $1,000, it actually brought it down to, I want to say it was like $9,800 or something like that. I was like, okay. So, first payment, $153. And that's for 6 months. After that, $350 for 2 years. The program is 6 months. I will still be paying on this and be done. And guess what? Probably will be landing a job. The average web developer coder, either full stack, front or back end, most of them start off coming out the gate between 58, 70,000 to 100,000+ a year. I think I make 30,000 a year with a master's degree. Get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language, but get out of here. So yeah, I took that journey. I said back when I started. He started. First class started on the 16th of October. That was yesterday. And when I tell you, I've enjoyed it. Had my first lecture class today. Started my little homework yesterday. I'm super, super excited. So here's where the other testimony is. I'm still working my job. And I'm in training from 8 to 5. Today's the last day for the training because we transition from another line of business. Guess what? Verizon. I can't get away from Verizon. So this is my thing. Am I supposed to be working for Verizon but doing it on the other side? Because after this, I'm done with call centers. I'm over call centers. Customer service, I'm good with customer service, but not on the call center level. So I'm doing training. At the same time, I'm doing coding classes. And helping my sister get in class for her MBA. When I tell you I know how to multitask, and this is coming from a 44-year-old woman. I'll be 45 next year. I exceeded my goals by getting my master's, my bachelor's, and having my instructor license and my cosmetology license. I wanted 4 pieces of paper before I turned 45. And I got my master's in 2015. I'll be 45 this year. So I'm already a step ahead. So now my new goal is that when I finish this, I plan to have a job landed before I finish. I'm going to give myself 4 months to land a job within this boot camp. Even if it's an internship, which I've seen turn into other jobs. Some people I've seen went right in. $250,000 a year. Just to think that if a couple of years back when I first inquired about the school, I would be doing that now. But it's all good. So that's my testimony for Tuesday. Testimony Tuesday. Just know that with faith, and that's the size of a mustard seed, and faith in yourself. And sometimes you have to be selfish and put yourself first, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. That's something I've been having to learn. And that is something that I have started to learn. And this is something I'm incorporating in my life. And the type of wife I have, she's all about, hey, you got to be happy first. So with that being said, I will keep doing these Testimony Tuesdays. And maybe some Think Out Loud Thursdays. And whatever else. But I will keep y'all up on this boot camp. I'm excited, and today is just day 2 for me, and I'm really only supposed to log in 4 out of the 7 days minimum, and I'm already on day 2 of class and log in day 2 out of the week. I'm super psyched about this. Now I know it's gonna get harder on down the road, but I'm always up for a challenge, baby. Believe that. Stay positive, love yourself, and know that all storms will end. Even when you don't think they will end. You just have to keep the faith. Until later, holla.